Hello and welcome to the Scutable channel, and today I want to show you guys how you can find good pre-built gaming PCs in the year 2022. So still, given the ongoing graphics card shortage, I have seen more ludicrous pre-built gaming PCs so far in late 2021 and early 2022 with some of the oddest part configurations which are absolutely not acceptable by modern PC gaming standards. And really, a few of them are only there just to make a cheap buck off of people who don't know any better. So the main goal of this video is to hopefully steer all of you who are looking into a pre-built gaming PC this year in the right direction by identifying major red flags, as well as kind of providing a little value chart that I'm going to provide in this video to kind of see if a pre-built you're looking at is actually a good value when it comes to the hardware on paper, like with the graphics card and processor that come with it. So before we get into the meat of this video, and I promise it'll be worth your time, I do got to give a thank you to the sponsor of this video, Best Buy. The holiday season may be over, but you can still find all around good tech deals through Best Buy's Top Deals website. Not just, regular PC gaming deals, but the same also goes for phone, mobile, TV, and home tech deals, also again on their Top Deals website page. So say, for example, you're a college student and you're looking for a laptop upgrade, like from something like this, that's something that is more gaming focused while still having that work and productivity focus while still being portable. And if we were to go ahead and browse the Top Deals page right now, you could find this Asus Zephyrus 14-inch gaming laptop with an RTX 3060, Ryzen 9 8-core mobile processor, 16 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte SSD, all with a 14-inch 1080p 120Hz panel for $250 off. Or if you just want a nice, cool looking 1440p gaming monitor and you're just looking for something that's on discount the day that you're browsing on Best Buy, again, if you check their Top Deals page, you could find this LG UltraGear 32-inch 1440p 165Hz VA panel HDR supported gaming monitor, which would usually retail for about $400 for $300. So if you want to check out any of those deals that I just talked about, as well as Best Buy's Top Deals website, I'll have all of that linked through some magic links in the description below. Okay, let's talk about red flags. Red flag number one. If you're looking for a budget pre-built computer, probably below $800 with a discrete graphics card, I would, for the most part, give up looking for one or just stay away. Because most of the pre-built computers you'll find below $800 with a discrete graphics card are probably using a very old, outdated, and low-end GT 1030, GT 730, or at worst, like a GTX 750 or 650 from before when I was a freshman in high school, being not a college student, being a graduate right now. So seriously, if you are looking for a sub $800 pre-built computer, just stick with one that has an integrated graphics solution, preferably one that's from a Ryzen 5 5600G or Ryzen 7 5700G, like one of the NZXT Foundation computers or a VRLA Spark computer. Those use the latest AMD APUs, and the integrated graphics on those pre-builts that don't have their own dedicated graphics cards will outperform these really odd pre-built computers for the same price that have just a really low-end graphics card, which is just really awkward to see and probably skimps out on the quality of other components to be able to fit that card in the first place. So if you're looking for a pre-built below that amount of money, you can do that route or just seriously build your own computer with its own integrated graphics solution. I already showed how you can do that through one of my recent build guides that's still fairly up to date. And you can build a computer like that for about $550 to $600, or you can have that sort of computer already built for you for $740 to $800. So it's your choice if you want to save up to $200 on just a computer that doesn't even have a dedicated graphics card that you can build yourself in a fairly reasonable amount of time, because I show you exactly what to do. But let's get back to the main topic of this video. Red flag number two, stay away from HP or Dell proprietary pre-built computers. So if they look like this, don't go anywhere near them. I don't care how appealing they look on paper for the money, there are definite drawbacks to getting those computers that will bite you later down the line if you want to do anything beyond them, like upgrading them or changing a few things inside the computer. It's going to be such a hassle that it's just not worth going for in the first place. And it's much more preferred to get a custom gaming computer already built for you that just looks like a traditional gaming PC. Those will just be so much nicer for you in the long run. And I could go well into the reasons why. There have been plenty of reviews on those sort of proprietary HP and Dell pre-built computers. If you open them up, they look totally not like a regular gaming PC because they take so many shortcuts to maximize profits. And it's just, at the end of the day, a bad bargain, and just don't pursue those sort of pre-built computers. Red flag number 3, cooling. So this is an area a lot of pre-built companies usually kind of skip out on because it's extra money, less profits for them, but it's poorer for you, the consumer, because you probably don't want a nice looking computer that is going to have bad thermals, because it could lead to possible issues down the road, which is going to suck when you drop like $1,500 on a pre-built and it's automatically going to turn into a space heater for your office. You probably didn't sign up for that. But luckily there are some ways to identify if a pre-built you're looking at is going to have good thermal cooling in the first place. So just like what I was talking about before, the more custom a pre-built gaming PC looks, the better it's going to be for cooling. So those proprietary computers I was just talking about, not a chance. Nope, those were not designed for high-end components, and for that matter, good thermal cooling in the first place. But let's move on to something that's a little bit more in between, like this Asus case with this really cool pre-built that has an RTX 3060 and Ryzen 7 5700G for about $1,000. This is actually a tremendous deal if you can get it on sale, but it has some thermal cooling drawbacks. And it is a fairly potent processor, but it's using a stock cooler on an 8-core processor, and that already is a no-go. And for that matter too, the case doesn't come with the most fans in the first place, and the ventilation that's actually on the case itself is not as prevalent as you think. I want to say there's only exhaust and front intake, but there's no top exhaust in the case, and it's just poorly designed for thermals. And with an RTX 3060, it's still going to probably lead to thermal overheating issues if you aren't careful with it, but these things can be easily avoided if you just go with a regular pre-built computer that's made with all aftermarket components and has a legitimate case. Red flag number 4, power supply quality. This is one of the biggest areas pre-built companies take advantage of to make the most profits possible by going with really low-end power supplies, which just aren't going to sit well in your stomach when you're using your computer. So to get around this, preferably you want to find pre-builts that specifically detail what sort of power supply they're using, especially if it includes the brand name, or better yet, if it includes 80 plus bronze, 80 plus gold, or 80 plus titanium or platinum along with the title of the power supply. That should provide a lot of ease of mind for those of you looking at what sort of power supplies are inside a computer, because if it doesn't list anything, assume the worst. Assume that the power supply you're getting is going to be really low quality and you may have to replace it after 2 to 3 years, or at worst, it could possibly short one of the components in the computer that you're using unexpectedly, like with a power surge. So just assume the worst if it doesn't explicitly state what sort of power supply the pre-built is using. Or look at teardown videos online or on forums and see what sort of power supplies users have pulled out from these systems, and maybe have run through their own kind of like rundowns of those and to determine if those are actually decent or not. And finally, red flag number 5, which is more just a moral judgment call, more of like a gut feeling. If a pre-built looks too good to be true, then it probably is. And there are definite drawbacks to it, especially when you consider how flashy of marketing a lot of pre-builts use nowadays to get clicks and to get buys in the first place, because they always advertise their nicest looking models, even though the components you'll be getting are fairly low end if you wanted to save money. So I'll provide 2 quick examples here. Here is an iPason gaming desktop, which right off the bat for $750 looks really cool, though it has an i5 10400, so a 6-core processor, an NVIDIA GT 1030, 4 GB, 500 GB SSD, and 8 GB of RAM. So first up, I have never heard of a GT 1030 4GB card before, at least off the top of my head. And upon further inspection, you'll find that that card doesn't use GDDR5 RAM like what a regular video card uses. It actually uses DDR4 RAM, the same sort of RAM you put as the system memory in your computer, and it's not nearly as fast as dedicated video memory like that of GDDR5. And despite double the supposed size, no, it's gonna be way slower. And for that money, in terms of a pre-built, I'd just much rather get, like what I was saying earlier, the VRLA Spark for $10 less with an integrated graphics solution that'll actually be faster than that DDR4 GT 1030. So again, a nice looking price tag, below $800 with a discrete graphics card. Like I was saying earlier, that's a red flag, but it's using such a neutered GT 1030. It's using a really neutered graphics card, and for that price, no, you're much better off getting a different pre-built or just building one of your own that's gonna absolutely destroy this. Also has 8 gigs of memory, which is probably gonna be a single stick, and that's gonna be ugly to work with as well. So that is a pre-built with some definite caveats. Also, let's look at a $550 pre-built with 1,255 ratings at 4.1 stars on Amazon. Seems okay on the surface, looks like a great deal, but this is using ancient components, all of which were actually, again, released before I was a freshman in high school. So do you really want to pay for a $550 computer that uses 10-year-old components in the year 2022? No. And just doing a basic inspection of when these parts came out to just immediately show you on the surface what sort of pre-built this computer is from Amazon. And seriously, for that same price, you could build my $550 custom gaming PC I released back in November. Seriously, it's not that hard to build, and you will absolutely do circles around this computer. So with all of those red flags out of the way, let's go ahead and finish out this video with my value chart that I made to help kind of let you judge how good the value is on a pre-built that you're looking at based off of the graphics card and processor that come with it. So I've ranging from $600 all the way to $2,000, my ideal processor, RAM, graphics card, and storage solutions for pre-builts that I would consider to be good deals. And let's go ahead and find just a random computer online and throw it through this value chart and see if it's a good deal or not. In fact, let's just go ahead and go to Newegg. Let's find the #1 bestseller, this ABS Master Gaming PC for $1,600. It has an i7, so an 8-core processor, an RTX 3060 Ti, 16 gigs of memory, and a 1 terabyte SSD. And this, I think, would be really ideal for a $1,500 gaming computer. So it is a little bit over budget, though I think that's a bit compensated given the fact that this is coming from a good brand. It's using an 8-core processor over a 6, which if this were a 6-core variant, it probably would be closer to $1,500. And you're given a nice thermal cooling solution with this computer. There's no shortcuts taken there. You got plenty of fans and an aftermarket cooler, as well as an 80+ gold power supply. So all around, just a nice pre-built for $1,600. I wouldn't call it a killer deal, but it's okay. It's all right. You're not getting scammed. That's the important part. And now let's look at a pre-built that is a good deal based off of this value chart that I made. Now actually on the lower end, this is the VRLA Tech Aurora. Again, this video is not sponsored by VRLA Tech. It's sponsored by Best Buy. They just make decently good pre-builts. And with that $100 off coupon code, you can get this for $800, and it has an i3, a 4-core processor, a GTX 1650, a 120GB SSD paired with a 1 terabyte hard drive. Not a terrible storage solution for this sort of computer, and 16 gigs of DDR4 memory for $800 in a custom computer that's already built for you. I think that's a good deal. So hopefully those red flags and that value chart should be helpful tools in finding good pre-builts in the year 2022, or at least to prevent you from buying really terrible ones and getting an obvious ripoff. So hopefully this video was of use, and if it was, do consider subscribing, because I am going to be making more pre-built content on this channel, as well as actual reviews. That is going to be a push I'm going to be making in 2022, and I'm going to try hard at it. So if you want to see it, feel free to subscribe. So with all that said, thank you so much for watching, and this is the Scatterable channel, signing out.